The Book of the Unknown Americans, Chapter 15, Adolfo, Fito, Angelino. I came here in 1972 because I wanted to be a boxer like the great Juan Carlos Jimenez, who was from Paraguay. Like me. There was a trainer in Washington, D.C., who was good, who was very good, legendary, and who specialized in flyweight fighters, which is what I was, skinny but strong. I wrote the trainer a letter. Sully Samuelson. What a name. And he wrote me back. A letter signed with his name. He told me he wasn't taking on any new fighters, but if that I was ever in DC, I should look him up. Maybe he assumed that because I was all the way over in Paraguay, the chances weren't good that I would ever be in DC. Maybe it was just a bluff, is what I'm saying. But I thought if I could just get a meeting with him, if I could show him what I was capable of, that I was going to be the next Jimenez. There was no way he wouldn't want to work with me. So I went to his gym, and every day I bounced around, pow, 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 light as air on my feet. And then, boom, a hook you never saw coming. I wore red satin shorts and the best pair of boxing shoes I could afford. I was waiting for Sully to take notice, to see me and recognize that I was a champion. But after a few days, nothing. And when I finally asked one of the other guys about him, I found out that Sully had moved to Vermont, which is a place I had never heard of back then. Vermont? What is that? I thought I would go. Vermont. But I only made it as far as Delaware. I ran out of money on the way, so I got off here and found a job laying blacktop for a few days, trying to earn enough for another bus ticket. It was supposed to be temporary, but I was seal coating the parking lot of this building, and the landlord, he used to stand out on the balcony, smoking a cigar while I worked. Name was Oscar. Turned out he was heading back to Montevideo, where he was from, and the guy who owned the building back then wanted him to find a replacement to manage the property. For some reason, he thought I could do the job. No way, I told him. I'm going to be a boxer. He took one look at me and laughed. You, he said. I challenged him to an arm wrestling match. I said if I beat him, he had to give me the money for a ticket to Vermont. But if he beat me, I'd take the building manager job instead. Well, here I am. No shame in it. Who comes to the United States and ends up in Delaware? I, for one, never thought I'd be here, but I've been surprised. It's popular with the Latinos, and all because of the mushroom farms over in Pennsylvania. Half of the mushrooms in the country are grown there. Back in the 70s, they used to hire Puerto Ricans to harvest everything, but now it's the Mexicans. And they used to set up the workers with housing, too. Shitty housing with rats as big as rabbits, boarded up windows, no hot water. After Reagan's amnesty deal, the workers started bringing their families from Mexico. They didn't put their wives and children up in that shitty housing, though. They found other places to live, places like Delaware. It's cheaper than Pennsylvania, and no sales tax. We have all the Spanish supermarkets now, and the school district started those English programs. I know some people here think we're trying to take over, but we just want to be a part of it. We want to have our stake. This is our home, too. I like it here. I started off as the manager, but now I own the building. Bought it out almost 10 years ago after working jobs on the side, saving up. I got a good deal. The area is changing, though, a clash of cultures. I try to make this building like an island for all us washed ashore refugees, a safe harbor. I don't let anyone mess with me. If people want to tell me to go home, I just turn to them and smile politely and say, I'm already there.